Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports.
Are you really doing season 4 of that stupid podcast?
Y'all know the name of the show. It's Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. And what do guys do when they talk sports at the bar? They drink beer. So if you want to buy us a beer, you can Venmo us. The Venmo is at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. All right, thank you for listening to Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Thanks for joining us today. This is the podcast dedicated to the endless sports controversies covered at bars daily. But we decided to capture that and just record it and stream it to the world. And that's what we do every week here on Guys at the Bar Talking Sports at MJ's Bar and Grill, South Carolina in Columbia. And we got all kinds of diversity around here when it comes to fandom, though. We're not just a bunch of Gamecock fans, although we do like the Gamecocks some. I know everybody
it's good
here.
For the local economy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And we got one person paying them a bunch of money every. Oh, two of y'all are paying them a bunch of money every.
Why do you
every
think
month,
I am wearing this shirt tonight?
Yeah, I know, man.
I'm paying money. I'm not wearing the shirt.
I don't know why you're not wearing the shirt.
I'm just having to put it on my back.
Money to another school.
Oh, but you do wear the shirt. Hush up.
I do, but not tonight. I'm wearing my Dr. Pepper shirt to celebrate the beginning of college football season.
Oh, yeah, my man over here, the Dr. Pepper shirt. I wonder what the commercial's going to be like, but we're not going to talk commercials, but it should be fun to watch those commercials this weekend for sure. This week, we're going to talk about some matchups that we're going to be looking at, some college football games. Florida, Utah is going to open up on Thursday. We're going to talk about the LSU-FSU game, which is going to be on Sunday. We're going to talk about the Carolina-North Carolina game, which is Saturday, and College Game Day.
That's the Carolina-South Carolina game. The trademark is owned by the Tar Heels.
Carolina versus North Carolina game.
Carolina versus South Carolina.
1799,
All right.
1789.
How about this? On this show, we will refer to whoever the winner is of that game this week as Carolina. No? You will not go along with that?
Belongs to the blue.
Oh, whatever. Okay. And we're going to talk about some other games as well. So stay tuned for those games and our take on those.
We'll say the Gamecocks and the Tar Heels.
Yeah. All right, so y'all know every sports show has a way that they predict games, right? Every sports show out there, ESPN, you got 24/7 Sports, you got all these different podcasts. Everyone has their different way that they're going to predict sports, right? Here at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, we have a very simple yet highly accurate model to predict games. That's Landon the Legend. Landon the Legend. You may need to re-listen a few times to what he says because it's hard to understand it sometimes, but he is our way to predict the sports. So we're going to go ahead and let him tell y'all the outcome of the LSU versus FSU game, the Carolina versus South Carolina game, and the Florida versus Utah game, all right? So let's go ahead and listen to what he's got to say.
Florida, Tar Heels, LSU.
All right, so that's our boy Landon the Legend. He is 3 years old, by the way. So if you're listening to him and you're taking it and you're going to take it to Vegas and put some money on this stuff.
He got me paid last year.
So if you're going to listen to him and do not blame the Guys at the Bar Talking Sports if you lose, but listen, if we keep up with this kid and see what his outcomes are, if he beats Vegas, we might have the best system in place right now.
He's a money line kind of guy.
Exactly. All right, so anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and thank somebody very special, Beth Becker, for giving us some money for our alcohol intake. Thank you very much. We do overindulge in alcohol sometimes, and Beth went ahead and sent us some money to buy us a round. It will pay for my man here, my man Chief's water this week. But if you want to go ahead and shoot us over some money, it's at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. So check that out. And what did you want to say about that, Chief?
So just a shout out to Queen City United Realty. as well as we got to say War Eagle for Beth for sending
Yeah,
that to us.
the one time in my life I will say War Damn Eagle. War Damn Eagle.
Yeah, we will sell our souls to the devil for
a drink. We're
a
cheap.
round of beer.
Yep. And
So
go Navy for her, too.
Yeah.
Go Navy.
So at guys, the Bar Talk on Sports on Venmo if you want to check that out. So let's go ahead and do some introductions real fast. We have actually solidified our contract with Landon Legend, so he got to open up the show.
Hey,
Right?
he's a good man.
Shot of apple juice.
Parents, but the kid's good.
Supposedly we gotta do a shot of apple juice. That's the payment on the show.
Well, okay, I can do that.
So we're gonna have to figure out how to get a glass of apple juice over here. And then we also solidified the contract with my man Chopper here. What are you drinking, Chopper? That is an interesting beer.
This is a Sam Adams Porch Rocker Lemon Rattler.
Nice.
Delicious.
And Chief's over here with his cocktail with some lemon in it.
I'm having Hydrox with lemon.
Man, hold up. This is guys at the bar talking at a bar drinking. Man, hold up. We're going to have to get this right in the future moving forward, man. You're going to have to figure a way around your alcohol consumption to make it include
You can
Tuesday
have one.
evenings.
Yeah, you can have one cocktail.
Don't drink on Sunday. Drink
on
on
a
Tuesday.
Exactly.
No, we'll buy him a shot every week.
Fair enough.
What do you got there, Rebel?
Makers and diet, as always.
All right, and we got my woman Cheeks over here.
Hello, hello, hello.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Pink Whitney double with soda water.
Out of a Miller Lite cup.
I am, because I'm classy like that.
How many of them are you drinking right now?
I'm on number 2, so this should be an interesting show.
Is Pink Whitney, is that
That'd be a total of 4.
That's a vodka, yeah.
Okay, and I got myself a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Always delish, by the way. So let's go ahead and jump into some conversations about games. And last weekend we had 2 top 25 teams play. We usually don't focus on the past. We're not looking in the rearview mirror around here. But the problem is there's not a lot of good big games this weekend. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the past for just a little bit, and that's gonna be the USC game against, and we're also gonna talk about the Notre Dame game. So Notre Dame versus Navy, USC versus San Jose State, right? And let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's start with the USC game. So the biggest talk after that game specifically was the offense was looking good, the defense was looking like crap.
Right,
Chief, thoughts?
right.
I know you got a couple of notes there.
7-point spread at the half. That shouldn't have been. USC, strong offense. Zach Branch and Caleb Williams, great teamwork. But you can't win football games if you don't have defense. If you held if you let San Jose State score 28 points, how are you going to do when you start playing some serious competition?
Yeah, and that's a game where San Jose State may end up being good this season. It's one of those teams where
Absolutely not.
Within their conference, they may be good this season. That's been the case in the past, but not compared to a Pac-12 team that's supposed to be at the. They're ranked number 6 right now, right? Or are they ranked number 9? I'm not sure.
They were 6.
They were 6. So they're still technically 6 right now.
Right.
Rebel, I know that you're about to blow up over here. I see your face turning red. What's going on?
No, so since I apparently can't, I say it too frequently, I'll spell it.
Don't call him trash.
Trash.
No.
Trash.
No.
Look, here's the thing: is this? They're a Pac-12 team.
Tell us how you really feel.
They're a Pac-12 team. You know what? I'll give them a little bit of a pass. That's one of those things. Having played at a smaller school, that was San Jose State Super Bowl. I don't care who they play the rest of the year. They worked all summer for that game. They gave them a good game for a half, and then they stretched it out. The thing, if I am a USC fan, aka Cheeks over here, I worry about their defense because you run them up against Georgia's defense, you run them up against Clemson's defense, you run them up about probably a mid-tier SEC defense.
How about Utah?
But the good. The Pac-12 don't play
Oregon.
They don't play defense anyway, so they can compete out there. It's going to be every game out there is going to be a shootout, and that's fine. It'll be fun to watch. But when push comes to shove, and you're talking about the Final Four, are you going to take a Pac-12 team in and let San Jose State score 30 points on them? So look, I'll give them a pass the first week because again, I've been there and done that environment. What are they going to do moving forward once they get into their conference to where they've got some pretty good teams? if they're allowing 30, 40 points a game every game and they're winning based on a shootout, they get crushed in the Final Four.
And that being said, like, USC is going to be playing Utah, which is known as having a pretty damn good defense in the Pac-12. It's a Pac-12 defense over there in Utah, but they still are, they're able to stop that shootout game that's going to be going
They
on.
can. They have enough defense to quell it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just, again, we'll see how the results go. I'm just not sold on USC, especially after that. That kind of reinforced it a little bit. But you know what? That's why they play the game.
But you guys, that was the very first game of the season. Cut them a break. You're going to judge an entire season off of the very first game. I mean, they had 56 points on the board. Cut me a break.
Scoring's not going to be the problem.
They were up by 7 at the half.
Well, and they
14 at the half.
And a team that has that has depth.
That has a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, well, no.
Yeah.
But a
They
team that
got
has
4 touchdowns.
But a team that has depth on defense is going to be able to compete with them at that point, you know? They're going to be able to, like, San Jose State could not put up a lot of points in the second half. They put up a ton of points in the first half. All of a sudden, okay, go ahead.
What are their next tests? What are USC's next tests?
Who are the people they play next?
So the biggest games they're going to be playing, they're playing Utah, they're playing Washington, they're playing Oregon. So those are the 3 big games.
You've missed their biggest game. We'll talk about this later, in my opinion. No.
They're playing.
The
they're
Oregon
playing
State
Coastal
Ducks are going
Carolina.
to surprise a lot of people this year. They're going to surprise some
You've
people
been watching Josh Payton, what he has to say.
They are going to surprise some people this year.
Theoretically, this team can come out 8-4.
Theoretically, this team, if they don't figure things out on defense, I would say that's the case. Absolutely.
But let's talk about Branch, though. Come on.
I just don't.
Not even at 9-3.
Unless Lincoln Riley can figure things out on defense, which the first thing they're going to do is go back to the drawing board and say, "Holy crap, we thought we were in it with defense. We're not. Let's figure things out." That's what they have to do.
Well,
That's
to figure this out, to be fair to them, their next, you could argue 3, definitely 5 games. Nevada, Stanford, Arizona State should all be wins. Colorado, nobody knows what's going out in Boulder.
No, they're going to win that.
No, they're expected to win.
They'll win that.
They're supposed to win. Like,
and then they got Arizona, and then they got Notre Dame, which is kind of an ironic dovetail into the next piece of this conversation. So
That was
But-
amazing.
But wait a second. So you also have to remember that Caleb Williams came out at the beginning of the 4th. Okay, so some of you people were camping and didn't see that. But he came out early, and his backup quarterback still scored a touchdown.
But you're missing.
And he ran it in himself.
You're missing the point here. I think the point of the conversation about USC is not can they score points. Can they
Right.
stop people? And that's going to be their downfall, whether they can or they can stop. It's,
So-
nobody's questioning offense. It's do they have enough defense to stop, say, Notre Dame, who the first week of the season.
Once again, this is the very first game
I
of
agree.
the season.
I agree. You said that about the Eagles for 16 weeks last week. So
I did,
I won't
didn't I?
argue with you.
So let's not beat
And
that.
TCU.
Let's not beat that dead horse. Then let's move on to another game, and that's going to be Notre Dame versus Navy. Our man, the Rooster, last week claimed that Notre Dame is in a position where they can be in the top 4 at the end of the season. He was all adamant about that. I said that that's a possibility because of where their quarterback's at, right? This guy comes from Wake Forest, knows what he's doing, great quarterback at Wake Forest, has a team around him now that can make it happen. So Notre Dame versus Navy, thoughts on that?
Notre Dame did what Notre Dame was expected to do. If they 42-3,
That's not what they're expected to do because the spread was not 39 points.
No, but what I'm saying is they were expected to go on the field and be the far superior team, and that's exactly what they were.
In a
It's
highly
Notre Dame's
stacked
kicker missed
field.
a field goal.
Now look, Sam Hartman's a fantastic quarterback. Nobody's going to question that. He was able to win at Wake Forest. That's something to be said for that.
4 touchdowns, 444 yards.
But
total
it's playing Navy, and Navy has been so. Look, Navy's had years where they could surprise people. They've been on the downward spiral for a few years now. They've got a new head coach. I mean, they're kind of in between right now. The thing with Notre Dame is this: we're going to find out in a few weeks because the next part of their schedule is Tennessee State, which will be a slam dunk.
Yes.
At NC State, which is never easy, so you never know. Central Michigan, but then they get Ohio State. So by week 4, we're going to find out if they're legit or not.
If they
I think we're going to find by
NC
week
State
2.
soundly,
If they beat NC
When they
State
play
soundly,
then
Tennessee.
they're going to be a contender against Ohio State. If NC State even keeps it close, if NC State keeps it close with Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame is not the top 5, maybe not even top 10 team.
because why? Sorry, go ahead.
None of this matters.
Why do you say that?
Oh, he's beating his horse every year. That's why.
He's an SEC homer.
He's waving his straw at us.
So-and-so and so-and-so or can't beat this team. They can't get to the end of the season and finish strong ever.
So
It doesn't matter.
So
Until
that
they
makes-
can do that, it doesn't matter to me.
So that makes them not a top 4 team at the end of the season.
To put it
No,
like
they
that,
still
historically
get in
speaking, the
somehow.
last time they made it to the Final Four was at Manti Te'o, who got catfished, which blew that all out of the
Is
water.
that like 2013 or
And
something?
it's been a while.
Yeah.
So to
10
his
years.
point is they always find a way to lose a game they shouldn't lose during the season, and the problem is their schedule is not strong enough to support a one-loss get into it. Because again, NC State, you can argue whether they're good or not. Ohio State, legit. USC, we'll call them legit right now, and Clemson. Outside of that, they don't play anybody of any consequence.
If they win those 3 games,
It's-
but they lose to an NC State, does that still make them a playoff contender?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Not when you're blowing through a conference like the SEC.
Not unless you're like considering like a 3-loss SEC team.
Yeah.
Or something.
Right.
But if Ohio State at the end of the season is a 1-loss team and their 1 loss is to Notre Dame, do they get in?
Oh, well, they get
By
more
beating
consideration.
Michigan and
They
Penn
get more
State.
consideration because strength of schedule is way better than Notre Dame.
Assuming that Notre Dame has an overall good schedule and Ohio State's 1 loss is Notre Dame, yeah, because that's a huge rivalry too.
But you guys are talking about a game that was played pretty much on home field advantage. I mean, it really was stacked against Navy.
And
from
this
the
is why
beginning.
when we expand the playoffs, this conversation
Right.
changes.
But
Anyway.
but I mean, Navy, yes, this was expected. It was expected that Notre Dame
Yes.
would win a blowout the way that they just
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
Probably not that expected, but it wasn't highly unlikely.
No.
I'll
Right.
say that.
I don't think anybody went, wow, we didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're a
Right.
Navy grad. Maybe.
So with Notre Dame, it is yet to be seen that Rooster is going to be right at the end of the season. You
Yeah.
all agree on
100%.
that?
I think
Yes,
what's going to
yes.
hurt.
NC State games where we find out, start to find out.
Well,
Okay, and then Ohio State really defines
yeah,
that.
I think that's the problem is they're going to roll through the first 3 weeks of the season feeling their oats. They're then going to go to Raleigh and be like, whoa, and then when they go to Columbus, they're really going to find out at that point. So if they get through Ohio State undefeated, at that point, then I will change my tune. Let's put it to you like that.
And the good thing about Clemson, or them playing Clemson, is Sam Hartman's played Clemson before.
Correct.
He knows that.
It gives him an advantage.
He has an advantage. So I think if they could beat Ohio State, unlikely, that's true. But if they do beat Ohio State, Clemson will be a little bit easier. And everyone's expectations will be like,
If they're
Notre
that
Dame,
good,
baby.
if they're that good, I think they'll roll over Clemson if they beat Ohio State.
All right. So we'll go ahead and
And let me
move
stand
over.
corrected. Ohio State is at Notre Dame, so let me correct that. So
It's at Notre Dame. It'll be a little bit tougher game for them then.
they'll let the grass grow 10 inches, except this AstroTurf now. They'll find a way.
They'll get some extra thick
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Most exciting part of the season right now for me is the beginning of the season, right? Because all of my dreams, all of my hopes, all of my
We're about to be dashed.
don't break me down like that, man.
It's like popping a kid's balloon.
All right. So
Hold on, if Cam Rising isn't healthy,
we're not even talking about that game yet. We're talking about my hopes and my dreams. Okay.
yeah, but they all hinge upon this
Listen.
game.
They're all
My
shattered.
hopes, my dreams, this time of year, I still have a team that I think is going to be 10-2.
Because
Do
they're
not-
undefeated
yeah.
as of today.
Even Landon the Legend said Florida's going to win this game. Okay?
He actually might be right.
Exactly. So
And the reason why he might be right,
is why.
well, first of all, if Cam doesn't play. Second of all, Cam, if you look at the statistics on how fast they played last year, their team statistically got through more plays than any other team. So he needs to slow the clock down. because he's not 100%. If he doesn't know how to slow the clock down,
That's not
he's
their
going to be
offense,
out
though.
early.
That's not their offense,
So
though.
just for those of y'all that don't know, we're talking about the Utah-Florida game. Everyone jumped ahead on me on this.
Then you
Okay.
need to take an audible here.
Cam Rising versus Graham Mertz, right? Cam Rising may not even be there. He may not be playing. This is a guy that if he is playing, he's a mobile quarterback. This is a guy that gets those extra 5-10 yards with his legs that's what he's known for.
Yep.
He had knee surgery in January. He is not going to be mobile during that game if he plays.
That's correct.
So
Absolutely correct.
on Thursday night, they're going to be playing with a backup quarterback. Now, supposedly, the quarterback for Utah that's backing Cam Rising up is pretty good, right? But
Is it a different guy than what came in last year? Because if not,
it is, yes.
Yeah.
It's the same guy that came in last year when Cam Rising got hurt. Yeah, I don't know I can't remember his name. I was trying to look that up. But that being said,
he looks scared.
yeah.
Scared?
So his last name is Barnes. He's appeared 13 times for the Utes in the 4 years he's been there. He's accounted for 453 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on an almost 65% completion. Most of his snaps have come in relief of Rising right off the bench. But here's the thing that Florida has to be aware of.
Tell me more.
Florida has to fight the altitude and the lack of humidity.
That's
And
right.
That's a factor.
Yep.
And that, to me, the two guys who are going to be impacted are Trevor Etienne and Montrell Jackson.
Yeah.
They can't run as fast as they're used to running. Then that could slow them down.
The lack of humidity affects that?
Yeah. Well,
Nah.
they're gonna be
That
sucking
sounds
wind.
awesome.
Yeah. Salt Lake City is at
It's
40.
dry.
Salt Lake City is at 4,200 feet. Gainesville, Florida is at like 4 feet.
Well, it's
Above sea level.
to me. Here's the thing: is you can even look at if you want to expand this out to the NFL. It's not so much the humidity or the elevation. Elevation will matter more than humidity, in my
Much
opinion.
more, but it's just
but
insane.
it's an East Coast West Coast travel. You can go to the NFL and look statistically speaking at teams that have to travel East Coast or West Coast. Whichever one's doing the traveling has a very lower winning percentage versus the one that gets to play at home who didn't have to travel.
Yeah.
My thing is this again is Utah's quarterback playing? That's probably the biggest question in this. Right now, Utah's a 6.5 point favorite. I think the game's closer than that, and why? Because I believe in Billy Napier. I think he's called a bad rap. The guy can coach. I've seen him coach. He coached against my boys. He just
A lot of
needs.
people can coach. Doesn't mean it's the right fit.
It ain't about a fit. It's. I think he's left. I think it's kind of like Muschamp. He got left with a cupboard bear, and he's trying to figure it out. Are they going to give him time? Do I think Florida wins the game? No. I think this will be a fun game to watch.
So, 4,200 feet above sea level. How much does that really play into this? Because this is what I looked this up today because I'm very concerned. 3 days to acclimate 3 to 5 days to acclimate yourself to altitude is the norm, right? You need to get your red blood cells up a level so that you're getting more oxygen into your body. It takes 3 to 5 days to do that. I don't know what the hell Florida's thinking, but they left today on a Tuesday to go to Dallas to practice tomorrow. And on Wednesday night, they're leaving to fly to Utah.
So they're going to be 24 hours.
They're going to be less than 24 hours in that altitude
That's
coming
going to have an
into that
impact.
game.
What's Dallas? 400 feet above sea level ish.
Yeah,
I mean,
ish.
it's negligible.
Negligible, yeah.
So what that tells me is Florida's offense this year is expecting and what they are game planning to be quick strike. They're not trying to grind out 12, 15 play drives. They're going to try to
They
score.
can't, yeah.
They can't. They're trying to score 4, 5, 6, 10 plays max. Get their guys off the field.
And they need to
move
get
in.
their defense off
Correct.
the field quick, too.
So if they get into a 4 and out kind of situation, they get crushed.
They're going to get crushed.
They get crushed.
Absolutely. And that's my biggest concern about my boys in Florida right now is that 4,200-foot elevation. I did not think about that until today. And then I got to think about it. I was like, oh, crap, we're going 0-1.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully not, but, I mean, for the land and the legend's sake, because I'm rooting for him now because I don't have a dog in a fight.
And besides, Cam Rising either might not play at all, or he might play and not play well with that knee. You know, he may be restricted. He's probably wearing a brace.
I think he's going to play, but I don't think he's going to play well.
That could be major impact.
Yep.
Do you think that's a detail that they overlooked?
I think that it's a detail that because they should have went to Utah on Tuesday. They should have left today to get 2 good days in. They should have left yesterday to get 3 good days in.
The university's not going to allow that. So that's an educational thing. They're not going to allow them to go 3 days in advance. They can schedule ever how they want to schedule. The university's not going to allow that. What I don't understand is making the pit stop and it doesn't matter. Why stop in Dallas to go? Just get out there and do what you're going to do.
They're getting up because of the hurricane tomorrow. Originally, they were going to fly tomorrow to Utah directly.
Okay,
so
that's fine.
Today they flew to
So
Dallas.
why didn't they go to Utah directly today?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's not like they can't get a hotel room.
Right.
You know,
right.
to me, it's something that has definitely been overlooked.
The 2 days lag to get there, I get that. That's pretty standard.
Twice is
Well,
probably not good.
well, the thing is, 2 days lag to get there. That's kind of expected. That happens. The pit stop in between, I don't get. I don't feel like that's an advantage.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
To go practice in 110 degree Texas heat, to then go to 75 at 4,200 feet elevation. I don't get that, but we'll see.
I'm very worried about my boys in orange and blue. I can tell you that. But I will be right here at MJ's Bar and Grill on Thursday night at 8 p.m. watching that game.
Quick question: take all those factors out. If they were playing in Gainesville, would you be worried?
No, because I think because it's hard to come to Gainesville and win. They have a similar team that they had last year, but they don't have as many stars this year over in Utah. Cam Rising is going to be. I think he's going to be out for the game. The reason why is because they need to win the Pac-12. They're not going to risk him going in and playing the Gators and not win the Pac-12.
If he does not play, Florida wins the game.
If he does not play, Florida wins.
Florida wins the game.
I hope you're right.
I agree.
So
I don't know. I still think we got too many factors in here. It could be close.
Yeah, exactly. Sadly, but the spread is 6.5, and that's probably why. Sadly, there's not a lot of big games in Week 1. Unfortunately, in past seasons, there's been some pretty big games in Week 1. This year, you have LSU, you have Florida State. They're playing together on Sunday. You got Duke, you got Clemson. Not really that big of a game.
But it's on Monday.
And then you got University of South Carolina versus Carolina Tar Heels. And we'll go ahead and start and talk about the Duke versus Clemson game. The reason why I want to bring that up is I think that this is a game that, believe me, you're going to think I'm freaking crazy. But I think Duke may be able to pull out a win against Clemson.
I totally do too.
Reason why I say that, Riley Leonard threw for 2,967 yards last season, and he's back this season at Duke, right? That's a pretty strong quarterback. He also has a lot of stars, a lot of the same team around him from last season.
3 names: Cade Klubnik, Will Shipley, and Phil Maffa. And that is where you're going to see all the points in that whole game. Those 3 guys are going to put the points up.
And the thing that you don't see, that you're going to see over the course of the season with them begrudgingly, is where they got the stoutest recruitment this past year was on the defensive side of the ball. That's where they got significantly stronger, just because their offense, they had a lot of returners, but on defense, where they recruited, like their 5-stars, 4-star recruits they got in are on the defense side of the ball. Begrudgingly, they're going to be better than people probably give them credit for after having a down season last year. But they go into Durham and roll them.
Yeah. Duke gives them a game, I think.
Duke gives them a quarter.
Well, they're at Duke.
It doesn't matter. That stadium holds 25,000. I mean,
They can't
One of the smallest
hang with
ACC stadiums.
the smallest.
Yeah,
They won't hang with them for 4 quarters.
home field advantage does not matter when you're in a stadium that's 25,000 people.
Easy now.
There's not enough.
You know what's funny is it's going to be a sea of orange.
If
Oh,
there's cowbells.
Oh yeah, if you're what is Mississippi? Is it Mississippi State? They have 35,000. I think that's.
Yeah,
But factually, both of the records were very similar last year. The difference is when
That's true, yeah.
when
9-4.
Clemson lost, Clemson got their asses handed to them.
Yeah,
But when Duke lost, they lost close, really close.
They did, yeah. I think this is a team that can pull one off. I mean, that would be a crazy upset first game of the season, but that's besides the Florida Gators beating Utah, that's my
Tiger
upset.
5-14, I bet you water.
Tigers by 14.
I think
You
it's
bet me
more than
some
that.
water.
I think it's more
I
than
will
that.
throw
Oh,
a lemon into that water if you bet me on
Well,
that one for
Because
sure.
all the other factors that could factor into this, you'd say, oh, could they overlook them going into the next week because of the big game? They play Charleston Southern the next week. They play Florida Atlantic the next. They have no reason to not be prepared for this game until they get to Florida State on the 23rd of September. So, Clemson. So, to me, barring some catastrophic injury to a key player, I mean, Duke's a good story. You know, Duke's one of those schools. If they get bowl eligible, they're happy. So we're rah rah. We're trying to win 6 wins. One of those, they're not. It ain't Clemson. So again, could they pull it? Yeah, it ain't happening. It's not happening.
And Clemson's going to bring a huge fan base.
Well, Clemson's going to bring the heat too. I mean, they haven't been on fire for the last couple seasons. I think that they have been surpassed by FSU and the ACC at this point.
Clemson's in a season to try to remain relevant. They really are, because they were on the national stage. They were in the the Final Four for many years, and last year they had a down year by their standards. But their record last year would be fantastic for a lot of teams. For their standards, not so much. They are on a defining year this year of, are they going to remain relevant, or are they going to fade off into the sunset?
They have an amazing offensive coordinator now.
You did just say something earlier that just struck me. Last year they had DJ Ugalele most of the season.
No, I
and
ain't
you
saying
said
much.
the Ducks. And he just got the starting
No,
position.
I did not say the Ducks. I said the Beavers.
The Beavers, that's who he's playing for.
No, he's playing for the. No, he is playing. Oh shit! I gotta rescind that now.
Oh,
He's terrible.
that reminds me of an earlier conversation.
All right.
You
All
don't know
right.
what's going to happen with those. Well, okay. So I get, but
He's
you're-
really that bad.
Yeah, he's really that bad.
Yay.
All right. Let's move on to the. We're gonna save the Carolina game for last, okay?
I think
We're
it's the
gonna-
most entertaining game.
Yeah, so we're gonna go on to the Florida State University. I hate them. I despise them, but they're in my Final Four at the end of the season.
Me too.
Versus LSU. I don't really like LSU, and I have them in my Final Four at the end of the season.
Nope.
My
So I
thoughts
think
on that.
One of these two is knocking the other one out of the final.
That's not true. Because one of those teams can lose this game and still get into the Final Four by winning the SEC championship. The other team, if they lose this game, it makes the rest of their season irrelevant no matter how many games they win. And that's FSU. So, that being said, I think that Florida State can pull this off, and it's in Tallahassee.
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's
it's
in
not.
Orlando. It's in a neutral
Oh, that's
site.
right. Yeah, that's right. It is the
It's in
neutral
a neutral
spot.
site.
Because last year it was in the Superdome. That's right.
I think the paths of both of these teams are about to take the same trajectory that they took last year. Florida State beat them game 1, and then it took LSU beating Alabama to be relevant in the conversation at the end of the year.
LSU won that game last season.
They did not beat Florida State. That was their loss. Was it Florida State?
Yes.
That was their loss to
You
Florida
are
State.
correct. Florida State beat LSU.
First game of the year.
Yep.
Did that?
Yes.
Yep.
And then Florida State shit the bed.
Why am I hallucinating?
But don't forget, so now we have NIL. Mason Smith has to sit out for selling an autograph 2 seasons ago before NIL. So he has to sit out 1 game. That's a ridiculous penalty.
That's a dumb
And
penalty.
it's from the NCAA. You can't do your ass for
So my projection on this is Florida State wins a nail biter in Orlando. They'll have a home crowd compared to LSU, being that it's in Orlando. And at that point, then they run through the ACC. It's going to take LSU with an upset on the west side of that bracket. Again, just how it happened last year, it's my projection. We'll see what happens.
Not so fast. LSU wins this game.
I agree.
Why do you say that?
They're pretty good.
They're going for blood. They're going for blood.
I don't think that LSU or Florida State are going to be in the Final Four at the end of the year. To be quite honest, I'm not sold on Florida State. It's more intuitive. I'd be sold on Florida State than being big on LSU. I don't think either one of them make the Final Four, to be quite honest with you.
See, I think LSU has all the cylinders running this season. They have a team that's returning 16 starters. Now, that is not the one thing that is the most important thing in college football, having the starters, but productivity. It's like 87% of their productivity from last season is coming back. FSU, very similar stats. These are 2 teams that are pretty much the same teams playing from last year coming back to play each other.
FSU's brought in 3 transfers on the offense. Cypress, who's a cornerback, Keon Coleman, who's a receiver, and then Tejan Vela, tight end. But Jordan Travis and Jared Hurst, they're both coming back.
Jordan Travis is a beast.
I think Florida State has a good shot, and I do think it matters that Smith is sitting out for LSU. If Smith was not having to sit the game, he was their most productive defensive guy last year.
Well, here's the thing is this, and I guarantee you they've been singing this to them. And let's be presumptuous for a minute that Florida State does get by LSU, which, again, I'm predicting they do. If you look down through their schedule, barring an injury, they play Clemson on the 23rd of September, and after that, they should steamroll all the way up to Florida last game of the year. The schedule sets up for Florida State. LSU's got a gauntlet. They have a gauntlet every year.
They have to play a lot of sleeper teams.
Who? Florida State?
No, LSU.
Oh,
they
yeah,
gotta play
absolutely.
Auburn.
I mean, you got to think about, playing Arkansas, playing Auburn,
Alabama,
playing
Auburn, Ole Miss, and then you got
Mississippi State. All those teams can beat LSU. I'm telling you.
so
In Florida, and they have to play Florida every year.
So my point.
Florida's not the team that they were in the past, but you never know. It's a crapshoot sometimes.
So my point being is for this, you always talk about looking past games. I don't think they're looking past the next game, but most of them play a patsy in week 2. LSU's going, look at our schedule. What have we got to do? Florida State's going, we win this game, we've got one more game to win, and we're in the conversation. So it's again, I think the perceptions are different. It could be.
And
That's why Florida beats them undefeated last game of the year.
No. That's why I think Florida State wins this game. I think that LSU, being a loser, they're going to end up winning out the rest of their games. If they win the West, both teams are in the top 4 at the end of the season.
Well, they still got to play the SEC championship game, so they'd have to go over and play Georgia most likely. So are you saying they beat them too?
Absolutely.
Oh, there's your prediction. That's the prediction right there.
I don't have Georgia in my Final 4.
Well, it's going to
That's probably the only person in the world that doesn't have them in my Final 4.
Yeah, no kidding.
I know, but they still got to win. So they still have to win the SEC championship, and I think that Landon's going to love this. I think Tennessee's going to beat Georgia. That's on my list.
Are they in Knoxville?
Wow.
They are in Knoxville.
I think Georgia wins the East, but I think Tennessee.
So who does
beats
Tennessee
Georgia.
Lose to?
Somebody else. Yeah. Tennessee loses to somebody else. Exactly. So moving on.
I say LSU. I'm with Chopper.
We got 3 LSU. We got 2 Florida State.
Yeah, whatever. All y'all that
I'm
say
an LSU.
Florida State. I mean, I'm on y'all's side. I hate Florida State. I root against every team that plays Florida State. So I'm hoping LSU wins. I just don't think it's going to happen. Moving on to the game of the week. The reason why it's game of the week is not because they're the 2 powerhouse teams playing, but because College Game Day is going to be there, baby.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to this.
Neutral site.
Neutral site.
It's not really.
It's
halfway between both.
Yeah, I wanted to go to this game, or go to College Game Day, and I was going to wake up early, drive there, but I am a soccer dad now. I know how these soccer dads feel, and my daughter has a freaking game at 11 o'clock in Augusta, Georgia.
Hey, and you will miss it when it's gone.
Yep.
Just remember that.
I'm not happy about this because I've been planning on going to College Game Day since they announced that they were going to be there, and then all of a sudden, Anthony, the freaking owner MJ's, who's my daughter's coach, is like, oh yeah, we have a game in Augusta. Whatever.
It's all his fault. All his fault.
That being said, let's talk about this Carolina Gamecocks versus Carolina Tar Heels. Can I say that? Is that okay?
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm okay with that one.
And
go ahead. What?
the last time Drake May played there, he'd like to forget it.
So my man Rebel here thinks that Drake May is going to be in the Heisman conversation.
They've already had a couple of folks who have projected him to win it over. Oh Lord!
Our Bo Nix aficionado over here.
Here's what I would tell you about this game: having some investment in both teams. One living in Columbia. I got season tickets to the Gamecocks. I graduated from North Carolina. My daughter goes to South Carolina. I'm very vested in both teams. Here's what I don't want to happen is what happened last year, and that was whoever wins this game, for it to put them behind the 8 ball when we get behind the end of the season. So last year, South Carolina won this game. North Carolina, until they ran into NC State last game of the year, this was going to hurt them in terms of who was going to win the ACC and different things like that. So my thing is this, is that right now the spread on this, I mean, the total points on this game is 64.5. I think that is a load of garbage. I think both teams' defense is what's in question. The offenses aren't. I could see this being a 63-56 shootout kind of game. Who comes out on top? North Carolina's a 2.5-point favorite in Charlotte right now.
Yep.
I don't know. If you held a gun to me and said, who's going to win the game, I got to gamble on them. I'm going to bet on the Hills just because they've got more returners coming back. But at the end of the day, having, again, both teams that I enjoy watching, I just don't want this first game of the year to hurt them in Week 12, Week 13 when they're in consideration. If South Carolina is going to lose to North Carolina, don't let it be the only game they lose until they get to Clemson. If North Carolina is going to lose, don't let it be the only game they lose to the end of the year. Just let the better team win. That's all I want.
So who's the better team there, Cheeks?
I don't think it's going to be Drake May and his boys. I think Drake May's going in there, and I think he's going to shudder from what happened to him last year and how he lost so badly. I really think, in my heart of hearts, that the Gamecocks are going to beat the Tar Heels.
Always so much feeling in your.
I do, and look how that got me through. That got me through my TCU all last year.
It did. So
South Carolina run the table? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying South Carolina's going to win. No, they're not going to win those. No, they are not going to pull TCU.
All right, so you're with Cheeks on this, Chopper. What's going on?
South Carolina all the way. I think they come in hot. I think it's an exciting team this year. A lot of excitement around Spencer Rattler. I think this team, a lot of excitement around the coaching. They come in hot. I think they stay hot all season.
Not a lot of excitement around the South Carolina offensive line. That's going to be a big factor. Rattler's not going to have the kind of protection.
Here's the question.
He's going to be running for his life all season.
Here's the question that is a question of a lot of teams. You're right. They finished the year hot. They're one of the hottest teams in the country. Yep. They returned 7 starters. 7 starters. So that being said, are the guys behind the guys who just left as able and willing to do what was happening when we got to December last year? And if they are, South Carolina's going to have some fun.
I think Beamer ball is all but over with this season.
Oh,
for the
wow.
time being.
Oh, no, that's like blasphemous.
The reason why I say that,
Shane Train.
like she said, offensive line is going to be struggling. In this game, probably not, because Tar Heels are not going to have the defense that Mississippi State, that any SEC team has had, right?
Georgia.
Georgia. So this is going to be a shootout. It depends upon which team has the most ability, or the ability to throw the ball and pass it, right? Spencer Rattler has the ability to do that, but he's been running for his life because of that offensive line. They don't have a running game whatsoever, and when it comes to a running defense to stop a running on the opposite team, Tar Heels are going to run right through them no matter what as well.
My projection on this game is it's going to be one of those games that's fun to watch. It's entertaining. Whoever has the ball last has a chance to win.
It's going to be like that App State versus North Carolina.
Yeah, right. 64-62, overtime kind of stuff.
And I can see that happening, but the rest of the season, Beamer ball's done. I'm sorry to say it. Looking at this team, I just don't see them being a team that's going to have more than like 5 wins.
Ooh. And the gauntlet has been laid down.
I just made a quick list of who's going to hate him.
Going to upset in the SEC because they do it every year. Who are they going to upset?
I don't think they're going to have an upset this year. I don't see it. Florida, maybe they might because they're playing here in South Carolina. But that's not an upset, but that's
really bad.
I'm going to say this.
Georgia.
Because they play here, and they always play them well here, depending on what Georgia's new quarterback is.
Georgia.
Because there for a while, when they played Georgia, the margin of victory was 5 points for like 8-9 years in a row. It didn't matter if they were good, bad, or indifferent. So
I'm picking that for my upset too.
It'd be fun. They'll burn the city down.
If South Carolina upsets Georgia, that could take Georgia out of the SEC.
No, that's done. They're done.
Hey, guess who else plays Georgia early in the season? typically does not play Georgia early in the season.
Auburn?
But do you think Auburn has? Do you think Auburn has a snowball's chance in hell?
Yes.
To beat them?
Wow.
Because you are a homer.
Peyton Thorne.
Okay.
From Michigan State. Strong
Yeah.
quarterback.
Okay, yeah.
Jarquez Hunter, backfield, veteran coming back, running back, strong receivers. Yes, we will be a force. We will be talking about the Auburn Tigers in
Listen,
October. I guarantee.
God, I hope so.
We'll be talking about them in October. Mark my words.
I hope so, and I hope that portal worked very well for you guys,
Mark my
because
words.
that'll make the West very interesting. So let's go ahead and get into the final major question of the week that I wanted to come up with, and that's this: do you think there's any teams this week, outside of what we already talked about, any teams this weekend that are in the top 25, or let's say the top 15, right, that may have a loss to one of these
Who's on upset
crappy
alert?
teams?
Who's on upset alert in the
give
top
it-
25?
Yeah, if you have one, speak your piece right now. If not, no big deal. I just wanted to ask that question because we already went over a bunch. I said that Duke might beat Clemson. I said that Florida might beat Utah.
Texas
I've,
Tech.
I've, I've got two. I've
You
got
got
two.
two.
I've got
One is just because everybody is so hyped on it. There's been
That's
so much talk
mine.
about it.
I know it.
It's can Dion make
Yep, that's what
Colorado
I have.
who they are? We're going to find out early. But my legit
Who are
upset.
they playing though? I can't remember.
TCU.
Oh, they're
playing
At
TCU.
At TCU.
TCU is not the team
But
they were last
you know
year.
me, guys. I'm an App State guy. I pay probably more attention to the group of 5 schools more than anybody does at this table. The upset alert is Tulane, who is ranked 24th in the country, plays South Alabama. South Alabama can play some football. That's my upset alert. If there's one in the top 25, it's South Alabama beats Tulane.
Okay, what do you got for me, Cheeks?
Mine's TCU and Colorado, and I'm a little worried about TCU because Max left, but Max Dugan's not doing anything right now, so I'd like to see him undercover, be a fake player, and come back to TCU. Since he got cut by the Chargers and has nothing better to do right now.
That would be sad. Do you have one for me, Chief?
You know, it's funny. I was looking, and there were two. I don't feel that these are going to happen, but I thought if I was trying to pick two likely games, FSU upsets LSU.
Yeah, but that's not an upset because they're closely
It's a close
ranked.
game. Colorado upsets TCU.
See?
Okay. And I just don't see Colorado, but it's a possibility.
Well, you don't know. They've only got, 10 returners coming back on the team? You have no
And
idea.
Chandler Morris is the quarterback for TCU. Last year he threw for 145 yards. That's all he did. The
Yeah.
previous year he threw for 675 yards.
Okay.
So he's dusty
Okay.
Where is that game?
at
At
TCU.
TCU. Yeah. So who's yours? If there's an upset pick, who do you think it is?
I like the story behind Colorado.
It's a possibility then. I mean, it's nobody. You can roll the dice.
Story, it's a fairy tale.
It,
It is, but I mean, at that point, I'm telling you, a lot of thought will be put into what he does. He can get those wins. It's suddenly like, why don't we take Dion's recipe and do it here and here and
It's
here?
going to be an interesting conversation next week.
Yeah.
So.
I can't
Okay.
wait.
Chief. What the fuck, Chief?
How about-
What the fuck?
How about Brett Yormack, who, if you don't know, is the Big 12 commissioner, publicly stating he is going to root for Texas Tech in the November 24th game against Texas, the day after he sent out a letter to all Big 12 head coaches about sportsmanship. That's my one.
What the fuck?
I got you.
That's okay. What the fuck, Cheeks?
My what the fuck goes back to the pros.
Of course you're going
I
to the
know.
pros.
I'm going to the
No,
NFL.
that's fine. I allow you to do that.
Thank you. And even bigger of a stretch, it's about the Eagles. I know you guys
Oh
are
my
shocked.
gosh.
Shocked.
Is she gonna talk about the Eagles?
Yeah, so
Surprise.
Isaiah Rodgers was picked up. Thank you, Howie Roseman, for picking him up from the Colts, where he's indefinitely suspended for betting against his team. And so we won't see any action from him, but Howie invested all that money and having a guy sit on the bench.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Chopper.
I saw this poster the other day, and I hope I'm not stealing
You're
that.
stealing mine.
Dang it.
I put it up.
What
You
the
can't steal
fuck,
mine.
Rebel?
Go ahead.
Stealing is. I don't know that I am stealing it.
Maybe go ahead.
Maybe, but I think he put it up. Arch Manning? Ah, that's it.
Yeah.
He read my
But that's all right. Go ahead. Go ahead. I got a different one.
So we great minds think alike, right? That's a compliment. And so I saw this. Dave posted this, I think yesterday or the day before or something. Arch Manning.
Do you want another
is gonna
beer?
Make more. Yeah, that's fine. Y'all having one? Make more in his NIL deal than Joe Burrow makes, right? However, I'm not really concerned by that. Here's why.
Why?
Joe Burrow's next contract
It's gonna be a monster.
It's gonna be a monster.
That's gonna be a monster.
Well, yeah, because
that's
he's
true.
going to the Super Bowl.
It's Joe Burrow's next contract will be the biggest contract in NFL history.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, it sucks that Arch Manning makes more money than him, but really.
Will it be the biggest contract, inflation adjusted? Will it be the biggest contract? Okay.
There'll be a 5 in the front of it.
It'll be the biggest contract ever.
What the fuck, Rebel?
So mine is a circumstantial. It isn't one of those of like somebody did something stupid. It's more of an unfortunate. Ohtani for the Angels. He's a pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
He's an outfielder. I mean, he's in the Cy Young conversation every year. He's in the MVP conversation this year. He's in a contract year. They were saying he's about to sign, hands down, the wealthiest baseball contract of all time. And he now needs Tommy John surgery for the second time in his career in a contract year. Everybody will tell you this is a good dude. He gives back to the community. Everybody's saying he's the next Babe Ruth based off of the talent that he has. And it's just one of those things of circumstances have not gone in his favor because, quite frankly, I think he plays for a crappy team, and so they keep running him out there to try to keep butts in the seats. And so my point being with that is unfortunate health-wise, but if there's anybody that can come back from it for a second time, be somebody we're talking about 20 years from now, it's that guy. But you know what? Sometimes life is unfair. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Last call. You heard it.
Yep.
Our lady Candy over there said it. And I just wanted to get y'all's take on this, okay? Where do you prefer to watch a really, like, any big game? Do you prefer home, bar, at the game? What's your thoughts? Cheeks, give it to me.
Mine is wherever my friends are.
Oh,
I don't
that's
care if
nice.
it's at home. I don't care if it's at a bar. I just want to be with like-minded people that I can enjoy the experience
Home
with.
is where my friends are.
That you feel the same way?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you,
I like watching.
Chief?
I like watching it.
At MJ's Bar and Grill?
I'm an experienced guy.
Okay.
I want to be there for the tailgate. I want to be there for game day. I want to be there with 40,000 of my closest friends.
At
I
the
want to
game,
go to
baby.
the bar after the game to celebrate. That's me. I want to be at the game. I want to take it all in. When there's a big game, such as the Hail Mary last year, App State Troy, I was there. I will always be able to say I saw it with my own eyes. That being said, to Cheeks' point and everybody else at the table, if I'm not, let me be there with like-minded people. There's nothing worse than being in a room with people rooting for the team who is playing your team and being obnoxious.
Right.
I tend to not like them for a while after that. That's just me. That's probably just me being an a-hole. That's okay. But at the end of the day, I want to be around people so you celebrate together.
Yeah.
You drink beer to drink your sorrows together. I would rather have the experience, but if I can't be there and enjoy it, just put me around people that are thinking the same way I am.
Okay, so
I
I
love
love.
those other people to give them a hard time.
Within reason, you know, after the game an hour later, still needling the crap out of me. I'm like, you know what, shut up. Just shut up.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, so you guys will see me on Thursday night at my favorite place to watch a game, and that's MJ's Bar and Grill, baby.
That's it.
All right. So anyway, let's go and wrap this show up. Thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.